Hi, welcome back to the channel. In this lesson, we'll see parametric equations. I will start by explaining the concept of parametric equations, and later we would use a graphical example to further explain it better. That said, let's get into class. Come back. General expressions we usually see in our mathematical equations are usually of the form of y is equals to f of x, or we'll say y is equals to g of x. All I'm saying is you could have equations of this type: y is equals to ax plus b, y is equals to x squared plus bx plus c. These are all equations in terms of x. Now, but there are unique cases where we don't necessarily need to express in terms of y and x, but we can express each of them in terms of a third variable. Now, we can call that third variable t, so that I can have y to be the form of f of what? F of t, and I have x to be in the form of g of t. Now, when I have this unique case, I call the t is always referred to as my parameter, and while both x and y, which are in terms of the third variable t, they are referred to as my parametric equation. Now, let's take an example that will help us understand it better. Now, my example wants me to draw the graph of this parametric equation x equals t squared and y equals t plus 1. Now, I have both x equals t squared and I have y equals to t plus 1. Like I rightfully explained, both of these equations are referred to as parametric equation, and my t is referred to as the parameter. Now, for the table, here is the final result for the table, but I'll explain how I come across each of the elements of this table. Now, the first item you see here is when t is equals to minus 3. When t is equals to minus 3, x will be equals to minus 3 all squared, which is equals to 9. And y when t is equals to minus 3 will be equals to minus 3 plus 1, which is equals to minus 2. At the time when x is equals to 9, my y is the same thing as minus 2. Now let's look at t again when t is equals to minus 2. When t is equals to minus 2, my x is equals to t squared, which will be equals to minus 2 squared. That will be equals to 4. At the same time, my y will be equals to minus 2 plus 1, which is equals to minus 1. So that when x is 4, my y is minus 1. With this, you can populate the rest for when t now is equals to minus 1, my x will be the same thing as minus 1 all squared, which is equals to 1. And my y will be the same thing as minus 1 plus 1, which is equals to 0. Now, with this, we have seen the corresponding values of x and y in these parametric equations. Now we can now plot the graph. Let's get ahead to plot the graph. I have just tried to scale my chart so that we can use this to plot the graph. Now, at when x, here is my x-axis, and here is my y-axis, and obviously here is a point of 0 where both x and y are both 0. Now when x is 9, my y is minus 2, so I can pick this point. When y is minus 1, my x is 4, I can pick at this point. When y is 0, my x, when y is 0, my x is 1, so I can pick this point. And when x again is the same thing as 0, my y is 1. That is when x now is 0, my y is 1. So I'll pick at this point. Now when x now is the same thing as 1, my y is 2. So it comes this way. And when y is 2, now when y is 3, the x value is 4. So I'll have it this way. And when x again is 9, my y value is 4. That means at 4, here is 4. My y now is 9. My y now is 9. Now, with this, we've been able to get the parametric equation or the parametric curve. If you look at this curve, you see that it's forming a parabolic shape. Permit my diagram, I'm not too good at drawing. And I have my parabolic shape this way. Now, with this, I've been able to establish the relationship that exists between x and y. Obviously, this is a parabolic shape, and I can confidently tell you that the relationship between x and y will be of the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, with this, I hope you understand how we go about parametric equations. In our next lesson, we'll still continue on parametric equations. To ensure you get that lesson, please do hit the subscribe button and also click the notification bell. Thank you for staying with us and see you in our next class.